And a good Monday evening to you, live from Catamount Jaxe here in Cullowhee, North Carolina. Welcome to Catamount Football Weekly as we talk Western Carolina football with head coach Kerwin Bell. Presented by Stanberry Insurance, live on location at Catamount Jaxe. Make sure you stop by Catamount Jaxe next time you're in the Cullowhee Valley. Come over, throw some axes, visit the social house. A lot of good drinks, a lot of great times here at Catamount Jaxe. Trivia coming up afterwards. Hope you stick around for that as well. And, of course, our show presented by our good friends at Stanberry Insurance. 4 locations now to serve you: Silva, Waynesville, Highlands, and Clyde, North Carolina. Online at stanberry-ins.com. Home, life, business, auto, anything you want covered. Let Stanberry Insurance give you a quote. They'll be very competitive. Give Kevin Stanberry and all the folks at Stanberry Insurance a call. Proud supporters of Catamount Athletics for 45 years and counting. Coach, off the top here, we'll look at last week's ball game. We'll talk about that. We'll look at some highlights of both the first and second half, and then we'll talk about the task at hand, which is Wake Forest, the ACC, coming up this week. But obviously, nobody more disappointed. I know Catamount Nation left Saturday night disappointed, but I guarantee you, nobody more disappointed than the coaching staff, the guys in that room, everybody involved in the program. A lot of disappointment that we played so well and allowed Gardner-Webb to come back, give the Running Bulldogs all kinds of credit, what they were able to make the adjustments. So we talked about that last week, that it would be a game of adjustments. But again, disappointing in the way that one finished up. But how have you talked with the team? What have you talked with them about? And looking back at last week?
Well, we just had some meetings here on Sunday after the game, and we just was a matter of fact and just to the point after we watched the film, we had. We was just honest with we had to get honest with each other as coaches, as players, and we wanted them to look at the film and be honest with ourselves, especially our defensive unit. We played a lot of snaps, but there's about 10 or 12 plays there where even some of our best players are not doing what they're supposed to do, and they gash us here or there or hit a big play. And, I think we had out of them 12 plays, 398 yards, Hook. And then on the other 80 plays, we gave up almost not even 100 or 300. So we've got to learn to we got to play more consistent. And that's what I told our football team when you watch the film, just the consistency of the way we went about it. First time out, this is a new group. We didn't know you don't know how you have them anymore from now on because – everybody's so new. You have so many new guys. We had 11 new starters on offense, and we knew it was be a filling out process, but I thought they played pretty good. I really do. To score 45 in the opener, I thought they did a decent job. They did heat us up a little bit in the second half, which we were expecting that the whole game. I think after they realized Tiger wasn't playing, they really started heating us up in the second half. So we'd been planning for that. We just didn't execute at a high level in the second half to score more than 10 points in the second half. But, we had 45 on offense. Defense, so we just, like I told our defense, we've been carrying. This team's been doing well on offense. And now it's time, man, this group's got to step up. They are veterans. I'm doubling down on these suckers. Y'all might think I was telling you coach speak the whole offseason, but by God, I'm doubling down on them suckers. I think they're going to turn into a really good defensive football team. I've got the right guys there. I've got the right coaches. We're going to figure it out. We look at it when we play the way we're supposed to play, do the things we're supposed to do, man, they didn't hardly gain a yard. We're up 35-7. Then when a few things happen, it's a little bit like last year. And we can't have that. We got to cut this thing off. But, like last year, you get up and all of a sudden you get a little relaxed or whatever, lose a little focus. We're not doing the things that we have to do to be successful. And that cannot happen. You cannot. You will be an up-and-down football team if you can't be consistent on defense. And this is the one year we've got the veterans there to do it, and they've got to step their butt up, and they got to lead, and they got to lead this football team. Our defense should be our best part of our team this year. With the veterans we had there, they got to be more consistent. They got to step on people's throat when they got a chance, and we had a chance to do that, and we didn't get it done.
Well, you talk about that, Coach. You mentioned complementary football, offense, defense, trying to play that. And you mentioned on the postgame show on the Catamount Sports Network that you felt like the guys might have given up a little bit or quit on you a little bit. Do you still feel that way, having gone back and watched the film? I know right after the ball game, emotions are high all the way around, but after watching some of that backwards, do you still have that same type of feeling, or has that changed?
Well, it's like I told him in the meeting. I shouldn't have probably said it that way. It wasn't quit on me. It was more just – they didn't focus and they didn't
Right.
keep their concentration. They didn't keep their level of intensity the way they had. And the one thing you look at, got outscored 24-3 in the fourth quarter. So we cannot let that happen to that kind of, that level of football team. And man, they played hard. That team played hard. Give them credit. But we are more talented football team, especially at home. We had the big lead. We should have stepped on their throat and finished the job. And the only thing I can say, you got 12 games. We've been in some of these before around here. Last year the Campbell game, a couple years before Citadel here at home. Man, I'm going to take all the blame for it, and that's good. I told our coaches, it's me. I didn't get them ready to play, but by God, I'm doubling down on these suckers because I think that we've got a chance to be a real good football team. I knew we were sort of a team in the making, more than probably we've ever been going into a season, other than maybe that first or second season, because we didn't have a lot of guys back, right, especially on offense, 11 new starters. But I wanted our defense to really come out the gate. Now, they're still just trying to figure it out, but I really like what we have. I think, like I say, I'm no ride them to the end. We've put in too much time and effort, and these guys want it too bad, and we've got enough talent to go get it done. So we just got to make these adjustments, make sure we correct these mistakes, and go play a good game in week 2. That's all we can do as players and coaches, and I know we'll do that.
Well, from all the way down with Jimbo at Wilmington, Dolores there in Charlotte. Dolores is watching, wanting to know whether or not we can find a way to get this thing going. I said, well, what did we start last year? And we were still talking about playoffs by the end of the year. You go 11-1, nobody remembers Gardner-Webb, right? If you find a way to do that. If you go win the Southern Conference and you get a championship, nobody remembers Gardner-Webb at the end of the year. I think you learn more oftentimes from a loss than you do from a win. So, again, not trying to paint the pretty picture, not trying to sugarcoat anything, just trying to talk about what it is, because it is what it is at the end of the day.
Well, and I think this is going to happen. You look at our conference, we had a lot of guys, Mercer loses to Presbyterian, and it's just, I think it's going to happen because this is the one year, and I think it's going to get like this every year, where you have no clue what your team is.
Right.
And really you don't have no clue what the other team is. And it's crazy because you could have a feel for what they were about, even coming off the year before. And now, I think you see a lot of teams doing that, right? Alabama goes down to Florida State and lays an egg. I mean, it's just you're trying to figure it out. And sometimes and what we've got to do is just make sure we make improvements between week 1 and week 2. Don't care about nothing else. Don't care what people are saying. We're not going to jump off the train. I guarantee you, our guys are going to stay on that ship as long as we can stay on it for 12 games because we've committed ourselves to this season. And we're going to go give it our best shot this next week. And I know we're going to be a better football team here in week 2 than we were in week 1.
But as you said, of course, no excuses and not making excuses. Again, you guys have taken the onus on that. And, of course, obviously, Coach, without your starting quarterback, with the Teron Dickens not available. And, again, I will remind folks at home there are some federal regulations that on certain things when it comes to things you can and cannot talk about, things you can and cannot release. So please be reminded of that. And we are talking about a young man here in college who is a kid still, so please, as I opine a little bit on that. But you talk about your two quarterbacks that did play in the ball game. I thought Bennett Judy coming in his first collegiate start, a sluggish start. You got to see the ball get out of his hand into a tight end's hands first, and then a little sluggish start. But then all of a sudden, like you mentioned, you went up 35-7. You saw a big bomb there from Isaac Lee. How would you assess those two guys, at least in the first half?
Well, Bennett broke his thumb in the spring, and he really put him behind. Isaac really played well for us in the spring, man. Played well in the summer, early in camp. I thought he was the guy. He really played well, and both of them was getting a lot of reps. Then the last week or 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, Bennett really, his thumb, he started throwing the ball a lot better. He knew our offense because he's been in it the longest, and so that's why I decided to go with him. But I told him we was going to play both of them in the first half, and I was hoping I know what I was going to get with Bennett. He's the more reps he gets, he's going to get better and better. And he did that. He took care of the football for the most part. I just thought Isaac was a wild card, man. He's got a lot of talent. You seen the beautiful throw he made down the field. He's probably one of the fastest guys on the field, anywhere on the field when he's running the football. But he just didn't show up in that. I think it was a little bit big for him. You're a redshirt freshman. He just didn't. I think he was a little nervous. But we're going to keep giving them some reps and stuff, and Bennett's going to be our guy this week, and we'll go from there. But I tell you, I think both of them played well enough for us to win. Right? We were up 35-7, and you got to put people away when you got that kind of lead, and should never let that happen. So there's no excuses. There's nothing we can do but just look at what we did wrong. Look at some of the big plays we gave up just because we didn't do our job, and that's the simple fact. And so is that coaching? Is that players? I don't know, but by God, we don't get it figured out. And we're going to, like I say, I'm doubling down on this defense. I'm going to ride them to the end because, by God, I think we've got the talent and the coaches to get it done. And I think it'll start this week. They took it personal the other day. And I think they understand that it's time for them to step up for this program. As a defensive unit, it's time for them to step up and lead the way. And that's what we're looking to do this second week.
Well, Coach, you talked about jumping out 35-7 early in that ballgame. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that first half. Again, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful atmosphere. Catamount Nation once again putting out and coming out. What a great showing for the fans and everybody involved. And we mentioned Bennett Judy. You got it out of his hand early, got it down here, but a little bit sluggish. You got the first completion. Then things kind of fell apart there on that first drive, and again, just weren't able to get things downfield. You took the shot. I love the fact that we took a shot here with one of your best wide receivers downfield, but just a little bit off target.
Yeah, we knew Bennett would come out, and he's very poised. He's played some football here before, got in some games, and he missed a couple of deep ones. That's what if we can hit a couple more of those, and just hit those, we've got a chance to really put a lot of points on the board. So. And I know as he got more into the game, he really calmed down and I thought played really well. Here was just, man, this is one of our older guys just not doing his job. And the first play, I don't know what happened. But, we know what happened. But, it's a simple thing that you got to do to stop that play. It's very simple. You got to make it go sideways. We're a team that wants to make the running backs. When you see running backs running downhill on us, that means we haven't done our job. We want to make the running backs run horizontally to the line of scrimmage. And our speed then runs people down, and when you've seen us do that, the majority of the game, we dominated. So, but come back and it was still 7-0, and I thought we had a good series here. Our two corners I thought played extremely well. Two new starters there. Hassan, who's from Atlanta, man, is number 12. He's gonna be a superstar, I believe. He's starting this year as a sophomore. Played a lot for us as a freshman, and then Dabney is the guy we brought in as a portal player. They both played extremely well and gave us a chance to really then get the ball back here in a good territory off a turnover. And Pat Boyd, man, I thought run extremely well all night.
Talk about 142 yards on the ground, almost 200 yards all-purpose, was nominated for a Player of the Week here in the Southern Conference. You look at it there. But, again, slipped on the kick. Talking with Christian Lowry, said he slipped a little bit on the field to kick out of bounds. But defense, getting pressure in the backfield. Talk about another one of those transfers. How about Jordan Thompson?
Yeah, Jordan, the linebacker, we think can really play for us. Him and Blue sort of swap that Mike position player. And, again, that depth there, we can sort of split time with those two. And does a really good job getting a sack there for us.
So good pressure there. I felt like we got good pressure. And when we got pressure on either one of their quarterbacks that were in there, we had some good opportunities. And you talk about, how about James Tyre right here? You miss A.J. Colombo. If you didn't see 16 on the jersey, you thought it was a 0. You might think it was still Colombo back there.
Yeah, James, he's been a walk-on for us in our probably couple of years. Hadn't really traveled that much, but this camp had a great camp with Colombo out for the year. He has really come in and established himself as a really good player for us at the receiver position and the return guy.
Look at the blocking up front, creating the space for Patrick Boyd, and he's got all kinds of room to run. Face mask on that penalty, aiding it. And then Bennett Judy, again, everybody talked about, you know what, you don't have Tiger, but you don't have anybody that can run. But Bennett showed that he can get out there and doesn't mind giving up the body a little bit on the run.
Yeah, Bennett's a tough guy, man. He's going to give you everything you got. And he's if he has to run it or if he has to stand in the pocket and take hits, he will do that. And so, we were really pleased with the way he played there tonight.
Getting down inside the red zone, and I give Kamari Reed all kinds of grief because he comes in and snakes a touchdown. Patrick Boyd works it all the way down the field, and then Reed gets the touchdown. But something about a Reed in the end zone at Western Carolina just feels right under Kerwin Bell.
Well, Kamari's about 205. He's a bigger back for us, and he really hits it hard downfield. So he's a good short yardage, goal line guy. We got to get him in the game more, too, just to get him some carries. But Branson, is playing well, and so is Pat. So we feel good about that running back position.
I really feel good about it, too, because it's the old run the ball, Kerwin, and we got that. Yeah. But how about you mentioned Hassan Sykes? Right on cue.
Hassan Sykes, man. He's going to be a superstar. Him and 21 Dabney are two starters. I don't know if you know, in the second, they started getting tight. starting cramping, and we got to make sure that don't happen again because they're both great players. And when they both went out there in the second and the third, we gave up some big plays that really opened up their offense, got them confident. And I think we got some good players behind them. You know, we got Darian Anderson, who's going to be a really good player. Hadn't played a lot for us, though, but one of the fastest guys on our team. And then Marcel, a guy we brought in from South Florida. So we got some other depth guys, but them guys were playing at a high level, and it was hard to get them out. You know, when they got out of the game there, they started getting cramps. We had to get IVs in them and took them out of the game.
So, again, the penalty compounds things after Hassan's interception, a couple of penalties, personal fouls. And then Bennett's going to try to go to the end zone here. And how about that? Big-time catch for James Tyre.
Nice play design by Coach
Wells.
Coach Wells. I was going to say Riley. Coach Wells. Great play design, and again, James having a big-time year for us starting out this first game.
So here you are, the longest first quarter in the history of first quarters, and you got to think that Western Carolina right now up 21-7, feeling good about themselves. And a big return here, maybe one guy getting out of the lane, out of the gap. You know, Curry Webb's on the sideline just going crazy. I would say he's pulling his hair out, but that's already happened. He's on the sidelines going nuts. But, again, defense back on the field, and defense has been playing well up to this point. Again, you've really bottled them in. They've tried to go with two quarterbacks before settling upon Hampton here. They did see Pennington in the ball game as well, and had to be a question mark coming in. You had two quarterbacks that you hadn't seen play really. And then a fourth down play where they get the offsides penalty, and we know what that was like. We had one of those later in the ball game as well.
Well, we knew one quarterback's in, he's don't run it. You know, the big kid and not Pennington was in. He's a drop back guy. He don't move very good. And they played both of them, and we just sort of made adjustments with whoever was playing. And listen, Coach Odom spent all summer, daylight to dark here. He looks at all their PFFs. So you see every play they play in from other teams, and we got that PFF system, which is really good. So we knew how good he could run and how he's done. You know, he's been able to do the things he's done. So and he really didn't hurt us running the ball on run plays. It was scrambles. We have got to, and by God, I've already made my stand on that. We're going to learn how to cage a quarterback. All right, so what I mean, when he drops back, we got to make sure when we got people covered, he can't get extra yards with his legs because we got a good one coming in here against Wake Forest. So we got to do a better job of that, and I think when we do, we'll be okay.
How about another rookie getting his first touchdown on his first career catch, Trey Walker finding the end zone to cap a drive.
This is a true freshman, man, out of Georgia. He is 10.5, 100-meter hook. He can fly. So it's good to see him get on the board, and he's going to be a really good player for us, Trey Walker.
So the Catamounts and then get the ball right back for your squad defensively. Again, at this point, you got to be really pleased with the way everybody's playing, but you give it right back. One of the first snaps for the redshirt freshman. You can see a little bit of tightness there perhaps for Isaac.
Yeah, a little low, and he was too nonchalant. You got to go down there and be aggressive and get that football and live to play another down. So he was trying to make a play and gave them a chance to get the ball back here.
Well, you talked about the scramble, the runs, and there's Dabney.
There's Dabney with great coverage. Yeah.
Good position, nearly a great catch. That's an outstanding wide receiver that they have there, Gardner Webb. Anthony Lowe, one of the transfers who's been in their coaching staff system for a couple of years from Tiffin. And then Isaac Lee says, this time when I get the clean snap, give me Malik Knight down the sideline for 6.
Yeah, great throw. Put it on the money. He's a really good deep ball thrower. And Malik's got great speed and got a chance to get him in a one-on-one situation, and that was just a beautiful throw and catch. And we're up 35-7. Now we got to step on their throat, and we got to win this game big time, and we just didn't get it done.
So midway through the second quarter, and then big plays started to happen. They were able to make some. That's a high-quality throw right there by a former FBS quarterback that's now at the FCS level. And again, just they start trying to matriculate. They try to get things going offensively. And again, Hampton with that arm finds a way to get them in the end zone here.
Yeah, we put some of our young kids in there too, trying to get some experience. Maybe a little bit too early there in the second quarter, but that got them, 14 points, got them our touchdown, 35-14. And I thought special teams after that one kickoff, I thought we played pretty good as far as our returns and the yards we gave up.
Again, inside of 2 minutes, I'd like to keep them out of the end zone, understanding they get the ball to start the third quarter. That ends up a little bit of a mismatch. A linebacker on a wide receiver across on the route and use the big quarterback, a little tush-push action to get him in the end zone.
Yeah, I think that this was probably the key to the game was they got back in it with these 2 touchdowns. It was 35-14 or 35-7, and then it's 35-21, which gave them a chance to be in, shooting distance of getting back in the game when we start the second half. So we went in this game as halftime, Hook, man. We were after we met and we knew they was going to start heating us up on the defense side. They knew they had to do that, and we made those adjustments. Defensively, we knew that we got to stop the deep throws and the big time plays that they were getting on us. So we made those adjustments. But we went back out with the idea, listen, this is a tight game. We got to go play good football here in the second half to win this football game.
Of course, Western Carolina leading there at halftime. You had a nice drive going there. Looks like you tried to, let's run the ball a couple of times, see where we are, not to give it back to them, keep the ball, keep the clock running. Then you started moving the ball. All of a sudden, you were able to take a couple of shots there. It would have been great to go up with 42 points at halftime. Try to answer right back, especially with him getting the ball, that old 2-for-1 type of mentality. But you still had to feel okay in the locker room right now. You're up, you're playing well on both sides of the football. Adjustments, that's where it really started to make the difference, I think.
Well, their adjustments really was what we were expecting the whole game on offense. Their defense, we thought they was going to come in and really get after us with the blitz and bring 6 and 7. That's what they sort of modeled themselves after Pitt, University of Pitt, which, my son's there. So we know what they love to blitz. I think if they thought Tiger was playing, though, they were scared of that because the way he could move. But we knew we was going to see it. We just didn't see it in the first half. And then all of a sudden we get in the second half. We were ready for it. We had all the plans to get ready for that, so that was good. Defensively, we just didn't. If you've seen in the first half, we got after them really good. We had some guys in the backfield pressuring the quarterback. We didn't get that the second half, and I don't know why because we got a lot of depth there. But I'm sure. That had a little bit of issue. It gave him a little bit more comfortable. And like I told, man, you don't want to let the quarterback be comfortable. We got to blitz him, whatever we got to do. We got to get him off being comfortable. So, but I thought we had our adjustments made. We just didn't come out and play at the same level and same focus that we had done earlier in the game, and that's unacceptable. And we got to make sure that don't happen again the rest of this year. And hopefully, this is a wake-up call for this football team. That's the only way you can look at it. That game's gone. There ain't nothing you can do. All you can do is flat sure don't give up on this thing, man, and double down and let's go get it done because we've got the players to play better. We got a chance to play better, and let's go do that. Let's work our butt off. Don't pour them out. Don't feel bad for ourselves. Let's just go get it done and work a little bit harder and figure this thing out because we can play better football for an entire game than we did the other night. I thought we played good in spurts. But now's the real deal, and we've looked at a game and said, hey, we got to make these adjustments, and we got to learn how to play the whole game, and we're preaching that, and we're going to coach it that way, and hopefully that'll show in week 2.
We talked about not giving up on things. That's the team, that's the fan base, that's everybody. It's just one game. We're still in the same type of situation we were a year ago. Just we played better down at NC State. We felt better about ourselves after losing that ball game than we did losing this past weekend. But we'll look at the second half. We'll talk more about Wake Forest, our upcoming opponent this weekend down in Winston-Salem. Looking forward to that trip down to what I know is Grove Stadium. We'll talk about the new facilities there and everything that Wake Forest has going for them as we continue. Catamount Football Weekly presented by Stanberry Insurance, live on location here in Cullowhee at Catamount Jaxe. More after this quick timeout.
So, you gonna play this week?
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 You gonna play this
You
week?
gonna play this week? You gonna play this week?
You gonna play this
You
week?
gonna play this week?
And welcome to the Ingalls Game of the Week as the Warhorses square off against the rival.
He's going in.
He's going in. Go, baby!
Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Hey, and welcome back in here to Catamount Jaxe. Coach enjoying a nice beverage. I think it's just water, though, because he's got work to do. But again, Catamount Jaxe here. Axe throwing in the back. Great social house, great drinks. Come on and see him. A great decor, just a great time, a great atmosphere. Of course, trivia coming up usually after this show goes off the air on Monday nights. Hope you'll come by and see him for that. Again, right here, right across from the Western Carolina campus. Proud supporters of Catamount Athletics. It's Catamount Jaxe. Catamount Football Weekly, again, presented by Stanberry Insurance. 4 locations to serve you. They serve the Southeast, talking about Waynesville, Silva, Highlands, and, of course, the new location in Clyde. Hope you'll give them a chance to give you a quote. Home, business, auto, life, anything you need covered. Give them an opportunity to give you a quote on your insurance needs. Stanberry Insurance, supporting the Catamounts for 45 years and counting, according to Kevin Stanberry. Love to have those guys heavily involved. So, Coach, we talked about adjustments at the half. We talked about making the moves, and you got to think, though, when your offensive coordinator is also your offensive line coach, as is the case for Gardner Webb, you got to think the changes the offense was going to make to try to get things going on their side would probably start up front. And I think that's where it did. You talked about pressure, getting pressure on the quarterback in the first half, making him feel uncomfortable. I think that's really where it started. And, again, they made those adjustments, and you got to credit the OC, who is also the OL, to make those moves.
Yeah, you got to credit that quarterback. You know, just like it's happened to us around here before, is the quarterback is the guy. You remember Citadel 3 years, they had a big old guy, and he just kept pounding it and getting first downs. I thought that kid made some good plays on third down, right? And even when we had him covered, he would run, get hit, people bounce off of him. He's so big, and he'd go find a way to get a first down. And down the red zone, he got down. You know, we had him backed up. He scored from about 15 yards out. So, you know, you got to give him a lot of credit. I thought he was only like 12 out of 33 or something. You know, he wasn't a high completion percentage guy, but he threw the deep ball really well. And we busted. Now, listen, we had two. You say we were too deep, which means that too deep means you're not giving up anything deep, and you're trying to keep everything in front of you. We gave up 2 of those long passes were on too deep. That's uncalled for. And that won't happen again because we won't put those kind of guys. Whoever does screws up is not going to be back there.
Right.
Because in too deep, you should never give up a deep throw. You should keep everything in front, let them catch it and tackle them. That's what too deep is. It's not giving up a 40, 50-yard pass. My God. So that will be corrected for sure. And then, again, we got to go back to that cage and that quarterback, man, because if you don't do that, you will not have a great year because there's so many mobile quarterbacks. We're going to face one this week. You better, if you rush him 4, then and you can't get to him, then you got to add a 5. We got to add 6, okay? But also we got to make sure those 4 guys know where they're at and understand the concept of keeping that cage in that quarterback so he can't run. Because if you start doing that, now you're and they weren't great on third down. What were they, 4 out of 16?
Yeah, I mean, low percentage overall.
And really 3 of them was probably the quarterback just making great plays out of the pocket, and which kept some drives alive and kept them going. But, yeah, it's the great things when you watch the film. I was so disappointed. You know, you thought maybe we didn't play that hard. We played hard, man. We hit that big joker in the second half. We were hitting him. He didn't get many yards on runs. We just gave up crucial plays on plays where – as I said, of them 12 plays, we had 10 busted assignments and 2 missed two of those plays we missed tackles. If we don't give up those, we blow these guys out. So, and you say, well, why we gave up? Yeah, we did. We gave up those plays, but they are correctable,
right? Easily.
And a lot of them are on our older guys, which I cannot take now. That pisses me off more than anything. I can have a young guy make a mistake. But by God, these older guys have been here. It's time, like I told them in the meeting, it's time for them to damn step up now. This offense has carried this program around here. We've got enough damn talent and enough damn experience to damn step up and play the kind of football we need to play on defense. So there's no reason why we shouldn't do that. And these older guys got to lead the way, and we got to start playing sound, good football. I think we do. We start getting guys back that are not with us right now, we're going to have a chance to be a team that can really get better as the season goes.
Well, Coach, I know we're going to look at the second half highlights. I know you're fired up already. But
I'm fired up, man. You got me fired up. I was thinking about me.
Yeah, you okay to watch the second half highlights?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's roll the second half highlights. Let's talk about that again. Of course, we talked about Gardner Webb getting in the end zone right before the break and then get the ball to start this second half. And, you know, trying to figure out, again, special teams play pretty well, keeping them from inside the 25 or inside the 35, always good. And again, they come out and get you looking for the same type of play they started the half with in the first half on this run. And here's a designed quarterback run. And you say, designed quarterback run, we stop him in the backfield.
Yeah.
Scrambles, he's downfield a lot. And they went to this other running back. They went with Griesbach instead of Quason Holmes. So they changed things up as well with a different style of running back. But, again, big throws over the top.
Yeah, they hit some good ones. They had good receivers, man. They've done a good job in the portal. They went and got 50 new guys, and they've really upgraded their team. And they've done a good job, man. They battled all day. You got to give their coaches. This is one of the cover twos right there. We gave up the long pass on. Our safety got attracted to the dig.
We have three guys on one.
That guy one-on-one. That guy when he's supposed to be in the play. He almost saved us. But that should have been a deep safety back there intercepting that ball.
So now you're right back in a ball game here at 7 points. And, you know, it shows right here, I think Dominic Dutton might be one of the biggest under-the-radar finds for this program, a guy that went to South Carolina to run track, went to ODU as a wide receiver. But on these kick returns, he and Pat Boyd, one of them is going to break one. I think it's going to be a competition of who's going to get the guy to break one for a touchdown. That great speed from both of those young men.
Yeah, and here's, you know, where we know we do have to grow as a football team is our offensive line, right? It's, you know, so many new guys.
Yeah.
A lot of them have played a lot of whole football. I think we're very talented. I think we got 8 to 9 guys who can play and help us win right now. So we're very talented and got a lot of depth there. We just got to find the guys to keep playing hard. And once they start seeing everything, you know, I think we're going to be in good shape. But we got to, you know, just make sure we're you know, taking one day at a time and make sure they get better and better. BK does a good job of coaching them. We just got to be better this week. But I think, you know, as we get into the season, this offensive line will be a strength for us. I really do.
A lot of times you saw a 3-man front with your bandit playing almost like a linebacker. And, again, here almost an interception. Again, all the near misses. There's Darian Anderson. You talk about a guy in the back end that can make plays for you.
Yeah, he's a guy we can put in. Like I say, our two, we're getting some cramps and tightening up. So Darian can play. He's one that got hurt last year, missed all of the year, but he's back 100%. It's good to see him out there. And
you talk about the quarterback runs on short yardage, and he's able to make plays. And I thought this running back, again, Griesbach was a little bit different of what they have. A little salt and pepper action in the backfield with Quason Holmes is what they said they call him. Their offensive coordinator told me that after the ball game. And again, they have a nice little combo. And with that quarterback, now you got a 3-headed monster in the running game for him. And, again, near interception here as well. Again, forcing him to the outside. Again, you have the double coverage there. That's who you were talking about. Yeah. You know, we played. I mean, we kept playing hard. We'd hit the guy. And he was a big old guy, so we hit him. But he'd fall forward and just kept him in good down and distance. You know, that's what you got to do as an offense. Keep your guys in good down and distance. I thought he did as a quarterback. Here, man, we got the running game going a little bit, but we weren't near as good, you know, in our run game the second half as we were in the first half. And that sort of slowed us down a little bit as far as being able to move the football. We also in the first half got our defense. We had to give them credit now. They ran an interception back to about the 30 that we scored on, and they got a fumble. That we got. So we got two possessions early that really helped us get up in that game. Again, that old arena ball type of mentality. Give me a couple extra possessions, and we're going to make you pay. Again, talk about your special teams there. They get the ball down and getting downfield. Love the transfer. Talk about transfers. Emmett Rhodes there, your long snapper, being one of the first guys downfield again. Yeah, Emmett did a really good job of snapping. He's doing a good job. Mabry, who's from here, he's right there on his tail. They had a great competition. So we'll travel both of them. But, you know, if you notice, our defense is playing extremely hard. We're flying all over the field. Again, we made some crucial just 10 or 12 plays. And, you know, we show them, and they really took it well. That's what I like. Hook is they really were honest with themselves. They weren't saying, well, they had excuses and all this. They looked at it and said, you know, Coach, I blew it. I blew this. I blew that. I got to be better than that. And so, and it's some of our older guys. So, listen, I'm taking the blame for this game, though, because I'm the head coach. And we should have been better. You know, we should have been better than what we were on both sides of the ball. And how about Patrick Boyd? He says nobody can catch him, but how about the effort, though? He's already raising money for a video board at the opposite end of the field so we could have seen that guy. I don't know. He sort of it looked like the bear caught him a little bit, jumping on his back. He didn't finish that run quite as he's the one of the fastest guys on the field. So, yeah, he got you can tell he's slowing down a little bit right there, but I thought he ran it extremely hard. That's what we like about him. He has that sort of Desmond mentality where he's a small back, he's very explosive, but he's also very physical. And I think Branson, man, ran extremely hard.
And we'd already talked about Kamari, how tough he is. We feel good about our running back position.
So Kamari didn't
There
get
he
in
is right
officially. I don't think he officially got in that time. How about Struggles? He thought he was going to get one on a loose ball. And offensive line, look at that, pushing the entire defensive front into the purple turf. You're going to get a lot of touchdowns in short yardage when that happens at that offensive line. Aaron Sanez leading the way there from the center position, and Evan Carney back and getting some playing time after he's had an embattled career. And again, Kamari Reed, like I said, snaking those touchdowns, but he'll take it any way you get it. It was Jalen Williams that was snaking the touchdowns last year.
42-28, man. This is what was disappointing right here now. The fourth quarter, we're a minute before the fourth quarter, and we get outscored here 24-3, and we got to make sure this don't happen again this year for us. We got to finish better, and that's on me. I got to make sure these guys are ready to do that.
So, again, they start going with a methodical ground game and then looking up top, and here's that scrambling quarterback and got outside the tackle pocket, got it outside the beyond the line of scrimmage, but nobody on that side of the field for him. And like you said, you're closing down here the third quarter, and things feeling good.
Yeah.
We've bottled him up a little bit. He's made some plays, and then here, another one of those scrambles, Coach.
Yep, that killed us right there. He just made some plays on long third down right there, and 3rd and 11. And we got to make sure that don't happen. When a lot of times, though, we play our coverages, we got to make sure we have a spy or somebody, which we did in some of those situations. We missed the tackle or whatever. Here's another cover. This is the other cover, too, that we let go over our head, which should never happen. You don't even try to throw the ball over somebody's head in cover 2. Usually you try to just take the check
Take
down.
it underneath.
That's all you can have. And, we let him run by, and that's just the safety not doing his job. So we got to make sure we correct that.
Well, they call a personal foul here on Gardner Webb. And, again, a little extracurriculars, got a little chippy down in the trenches. But, again, the key thing is keeping your head and keeping your composure. You see Ed Jones got his helmet ripped off there. Was able to stay in the ball game. But I think here in a moment they're going to have a personal foul on Western Carolina at some point
there
in this ball game.
Just not caging the pocket, just letting him have a free run. And we got, what was that?
That was the hands to the face where they kick it off from midfield, which is not that bad of a thing to happen. And so now, again, early on in this fourth quarter, back to a one-possession game. And you go back to the ground trying to figure out a way to not only run the clock, but also try to impose your will.
If our young lineman just could have got a hat on the hat a little bit better, when they start blitzing like this, all you got to do is have a little, just a little daylight for our running backs. And we just didn't quite get the hat on the hat. And it's just, what happens is you say, why is that? Because your O-linemen just see it a little bit late, maybe a second too late where they don't get on their guy as good as they need to and not create that lane for us to – because if you get past that first blitz area, now you got clear,
There's nobody there.
There's nobody there.
They're all behind you.
So we just missed, a couple there that would have hopefully gave us a chance to win this thing, but we didn't make it. Again, that offensive line just seeing it a little bit earlier, being able to react a little bit better so they get the hat on a hat.
There's a big play up the middle again. They've had some success on that play. And this one down inside the red zone.
That was a blitz by us, and we didn't run in the same gap. If you notice, one gap was left open, and someone didn't get in their gap when they blitzed. So.
How about Caleb Fisher, your big defensive end bandit, one of the guys trying to track down the running back from his outside position there. Good hustle by Caleb.
Yeah. I like this, man. Even though they got the big run, we went down and stopped them. We really battled until, what, is this third down? No, second down. And missed the tackle there. I mean, we got the perfect call. We got two guys free, and he beats both our guys. Neither one of them touches him. So that's just we got to tackle better to be able to win that battle.
So now a penalty flag. This one, I think, on Western Carolina will back us up to start things off here. Again, 42-42, and you're in a ball game. And
yeah, Jamari, the whistle blowed right as he was hitting that guy because we didn't bring it out. So you got to get off of that.
And how about, Malik Knight trying to be a defensive back there on that play. And then you look up again and you try another deep ball, and that one just out of reach. These are the little things. It's a game of inches. We talk about that all the time, but they're just right there. And then the turnover, the near turnover, able to get back on the football. But even on third down, now you've got to punt it out of your own end zone.
Yeah, we didn't have our run game as good as in the second half, so they teed off a little bit off us in the pass game. And I thought we didn't protect as good as we could have in the first as we did in the second. So, our quarterbacks were really, even though people say, well, we didn't play good in the fourth quarter, our quarterbacks, we were under a lot of pressure. And I think both of them, handled themselves pretty well. And hopefully they just still continue to get better and better here the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, learn from that. And again, they're going with this run game, and they've leaned on you for a big part of this ball game now with a big running back and a powerful secondary running back. Late in here, and then you got pretty good coverage back there.
Yep.
Samari Duke's one of them, and then here's another scramble, but almost intercepted.
Yeah. Yeah, we just ran out of room there, but we picked it off right there, but just couldn't get his foot down. So what is it, tied right here?
Yeah, still 42-42, and come up with a big stop again. They're going to try the field goal to take the lead.
Yep, 4th and 8. We hold them. Great job by defense. And now we've got a chance, 6 minutes to go win this thing.
So again, Bennett Judy going to get the first down, or Isaac Lee rather, going to get the first down run. What was the decision to go back with Lee versus Bennett?
Well, two things. I was going to give Isaac another chance, but also Bennett got hit a little bit, got dinged up a little bit, and we felt like let's get Isaac one series and let's see if we can make sure Bennett's ready when we put him back in.
And this one, I think this was a good job on review. Again, you watch at the very tip of this right here. You see right under his right arm, the ball bounces off. He trapped it. Nice job to cover it up to try to bait the referee, but replay on that reverse angle. Again, our ESPN crew, mostly students out there running the cameras, appreciate the job and effort that they put in and able to, again, that helps. The replay on that helps you right there.
Yeah, it did. It did. It got us. Then we go 4th down here, or what's 3rd down. And, man, we didn't block this worth nothing. We had a guy in the hole, but Isaac's got to be tough there, man. Make sure he took a big hit, but he's got to take care of the football. They gave him a short field right here.
Yeah, Stephen Hamby was trying to get on it there for the Catamounts, but again, short field and clock starting to become an enemy. The school board still knotted up. Defense trying to hold him, to limit him, and so far have done that.
Yeah, I love the way we battled here. And look at this call right here. I mean, my God, same old stuff. They'll get involved in a game. We did barely put our arm on the court. Look at Is number 10, is that a late hit?
And they called
it's a flop.
They called it a forcible contact to the head.
Yeah.
Again, from where I was sitting, I thought it was across the chest plate.
Yeah, it was.
They tried the trickeration, and a good job defensively here. A good play coming up for the stop there. And quarterback, though, still going to find a way to get free.
Just, again, that hurt us all night. And we can't let that. We got to make sure we learn this week because we got a big-time guy who can do it next week with Wake Forest.
So they hold them to a field goal attempt, so you still got a chance to 2.5 minutes. You still have all your timeouts. You have the 2-minute timeout as well to try to go and make something happen.
Ben has been good in practice. We've done a lot of 2-minute situations. We knew exactly what we had to do. We had 3 timeouts, so we felt really good to be able to go down and score here.
You talked about the pressure there. It was on one play. You try to go on the short, try to get something, get the ball into your playmaker's hands, and then, of course, this one, the interception, it was just off the fingertips. Tough break there. And then, of course, the quarterback with that read play, and then he finds open green grass and then the end zone.
Coach Oda makes a perfect call. We got a safety coming off the edge. You see him coming there. He goes for neither one, and he's supposed to have the quarterback. That should have been a tackle for loss. You cannot do what you want to do. You can't just decide you don't play your game. You got to do what we ask you to do. If you got the quarterback, hit the quarterback in the mouth. When he pulls it, you're there. And those are things we've got to correct, and we will correct it, or those guys will be at – you just can't play. But we're going to get them better this week.
So you talked about 2-minute drill, and Bennett, we go with the 2-minute offense here, and this reminded me a lot of that Chattanooga drive we had a couple of years ago where it was finding your guy A.J. Colombo. Well, without Colombo, what do you got? You got a tire. Yeah. We got a spare tire. We got James Tyre who's going to come in and really start to come into his own on this drive and kind of give you that same type of mentality, maybe turning into that A.J. Colombo when you get him back. Now you've got 2 guys that can go out there and just really create havoc when it comes to these late game situations. But, again, still in an opportunity. You know you need 2 scores and got to go quick.
Yeah, we had to get 2 scores, so it's a matter. You want to get the touchdown first if you can, and that way you get the onside kick and you only got to get to a field goal to tie it up. So you want this first series to end up to a touchdown. And we get down there, do a good job. You know, I'd like to see Judy just hit the check down there. The guy's open, just give it to your running back, let him go. But I think we had to take a timeout there, but we come back and – yeah, that's James makes a really good move there. Gets to the sideline. We're trying to find the sideline if we can to get out of bounds. Stop the clock. Down the middle again, it's a first down, so the clock stops. Here's where now we had first down, then we go second down. Throw one there, and the receiver sort of went off his hands. This one here is this the second? Yeah, this is the third down that was close right here. Man, I thought we had in the back of the end zone. I think they barely got their hand on it, or Painter would have had it. But anyway, we decided you got to at least get yourself a chance. So we went in and kicked the field goal, and now if we can get this ball back, we'll have a chance to go score a touchdown and tie this thing up.
Well, we do. We're executed to perfection, except for one little thing, and I think we can see it on the replay from the reverse angle. This is where the replay didn't help us on this one, Coach, because it barely clips the back leg of Josh Collins.
Does it?
Right
Oh,
there.
yeah,
You see it,
right.
a little bit of a you could only see it from that reverse angle. Just a little bit. It's maybe on the leg, maybe on the
after
heel.
10 yards, though?
It was right about 9, 9.5 perhaps. It was not that far. It was so close to being right there and having an opportunity inside of a minute. And, of course, they're able to just take the kneel down and walk away with the win. And, again, disappointing. We talked about that all the time. We talked about it. You mentioned embarrassing. You've used all the different words to describe that ball game. But, as you see, what were your words with their second-year head coach after this one here?
Well, a hell of a job. I told him he did a really good job of his team not quitting, right? He kept his team in it. They battled. They battled back. When they were down 35-7, give him credit, give his team credit. He did a really good job, and he outcoached them, man. He outcoached them, Hook. I didn't have my team as ready as he had his, and sure enough, didn't get us to the finish line in the way he got his team. So give him credit. But by God, we're not gonna stand pat. I guarantee that. We're gonna work hard and we're gonna focus. We got a plan. You got to have a plan. You can't just sit around and say we're gonna get better. That is people don't ever accomplish things. Does that? They sit around and complain and pull mouth and never have a plan on anything. We don't have a plan. I guarantee that. And we're gonna work hard at that plan. And we're gonna be a better football team this Saturday than we were last Saturday. That's what we can do. It's a team in progress. That offensive line, we just don't have to keep being patient with them, keep coaching their butt off. And I really, like I say, I'm doubling down on this football team, especially this defense. I think as we get to that conference schedule, we're going to be right where we want to be and go win a bunch of big games.
Again, we didn't freeze there momentarily. We had a camera glitch, and we were both looking and watching the film there, just kind of keeping everybody on their toes here tonight. We'll step aside, take one more quick break. When we get back, we'll look at the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. Had a tough game, a really close ball game against Kennesaw State in their opener, 10-9. They're 1-0. We're 0-1. Looking for a good matchup down in Winston-Salem. Hope we'll see a lot of Catamount faithful out. A good Forsyth County turnout. We'll be in Winston-Salem this weekend. We'll talk about the Deeks on the other side of this quick timeout here on Catamount Football Weekly.
So, you gonna play this week?
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 You gonna play this
You
week?
gonna play this week? You gonna play this week?
You gonna play this
You
week?
gonna play this week?
And welcome to the Ingalls Game of the Week as the Warhorses square off against their rival.
He's going in.
He's going in. Go, baby!
Ingalls. We're with you every step of the way.
Back live at Catamount Jaxe here in Cullowhee, USA. As we wrap up our show, Catamount Football Weekly, we're going to talk about this week's opponent and get you ready for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Again, live on location each and every Monday night right here at Catamount Jaxe. Come on out, enjoy the show live on location. You talked about some of the technical issues. No technical issues when you watch the show live from Catamount Jaxe. So that's a little point there. Come on out. Again, Catamount Football Weekly presented by Stanberry Insurance. 4 locations across western North Carolina. They serve the southeast. Again, give them a call. Go online, stanberry-ins.com, or stop by one of their 4 locations, Silva, Waynesville, Highlands, and now Clyde. Let them give you a quote on whatever you want protected: home, business, auto, life, health, pet insurance. That is a thing. You can get that as well. So, again, that's Stanberry
Don't tell
Insurance.
my wife that. She's got 2 dogs.
Oh, she's listening behind us, so she's
You
here
don't
on the
need to
show.
buy.
So
I use Stanberry. They good.
Well, I do too. That's
I
just
know.
it. Yeah, I've had them since bought my house 14, 15 years ago,
Yep.
and it's on protect my car and everything. So, again, personal endorsements here for Stanberry Insurance. Been backing the Catamounts for 45 years. Coach, big one on deck. You've got Wake Forest, another in-state matchup. You talk about Western Carolina football not leaving the old North State for quite some time here to start the year, going down to another central part of the state, going down towards the middle part of our alumni base. Looking forward to a great opportunity. And again, all you can ask of your football team right now is to do it better than you did the week before. I think you've talked about that. You've addressed that. Let's talk about Wake Forest. And again, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
First-year head coach there in Winston-Salem. Dave Clausen's moved on. He's now working within the athletic department. I think he's moonlighting on the ACC network as well. But you talk about what they bring, a little different. You can see where they might have been, the coaching staff before, but a little different animal with Wake Forest. The good news is you got to see them play pretty much live, because you probably could watch that game since they played prior to the weekend. But what have you seen out of the Demon Deacons on both sides of the football?
Well, they've come in. You know, I think Coach Dickert has done a great job of bringing in talented players. You know, their tailback's one of the best players in America, I think. Man, he's got banged up that first game, but the quarterback is very athletic, elusive, can make a lot of plays for them. And then defensively, they've done a really good job of bringing in some guys who's going to present some trouble for us. So we've got our work cut out for us. But I can tell you what, the one thing is that we got to get better. It don't matter if we won by 1 point or lost by 5 or 7, whatever we lost, or won by 5 or 7. We still needed the same deal. Maybe this wakes us up even more, though, when you lose, and a disappointing factor the way we did. But we have got to do the same thing in 3-1, and that is we got to get better. There are certain situations that we've presented this football team. If we don't get better, then we're not going to have a very good, successful season. They'll do the things that they've worked their butt off since January for. And so it's time now. In you know, Camp Hook, you get scrimmages, a couple little scrimmages here or there. You don't have your main guys. They're not going for a whole game. Practice, you surely don't. You run a few plays. So you really don't get to see your football team, their identity, till you get into the first game. We seen it. There is some crucial things we've got to change if we're going to win and be the kind of football team that we need to be and that we want to be. And I truly know we want to be that. I don't care what anybody says. This football team has worked their butt off. They want this. And so I know they're going to do everything they can to make those improvements from the areas that we see need improved from this first game. A lot of people in the country that either won or lost, we're all trying to find out what our football team now is, right? You're trying to say, what are we? Where's the areas that we've got to get better? And I think we've identified that, just like all these other teams have. Some of them won, got lucky on the weekend. Some of them lost. But all of us now, because of this portal and having all these new players, we're going to have to make sure that we identify those areas and we work our butt off, and we're better week to week, every week. And if we do that, we'll be in good shape. And so it'll be a tough place. Wake Forest is a good football program. Got a really good head coach, and I know they're doing a really good job over there. And we got to go in there and play our best. I've always told my team, Hook, you talk about upsets, you talk about shock the world, you hear people say that. But by God, the first thing you better do is you better stay in the game early. And so that's our mentality. We don't go in there and try to play a smart, aggressive football game. Don't hesitate. Play on the edge. Play fast. Don't turn the ball over. Play smart football for the first half. Because if you can keep yourself in it like we did at North Carolina State, now you got the chance for the upset. But you got to stay in it early. You got to compete with those guys early. And that's going to be our focus going into this week.
A totally different team on both sides facing Wake Forest, not NC State. Totally different team for you. But a lot of those guys can recall that and say, you know what, we went on the road in the ACC a year ago, and we're competitive. So I think that's got to be something in the back of their head you'd be able to call upon, saying, look, we know we can do it. We've shown that we can do it. We've gone on the road to Montana, and we've built leads and had leads.
Georgia Tech.
We've gone to some very tough places to play and have played in those ball games. So, again, gone are the days of Western Carolina being the old Herb Street cupcake Now we're going and giving people games, and I think that's what we're looking forward to, and seeing the competition and the guys making those moves. And again, the old adage is you make your best improvement from week 1 to week 2, and I think we got some stuff to improve upon, and you said that from the outset. You said that before we even went off the air on Saturday night.
Well, what it gives me hope, and that's why I'm doubling down on this football team, especially this defense, is that I see I've been to the NFL. I've been to the highest level. I know what good football looks like. I've won a national championship because I know how to put a good football team together, and I've got a good football team here. Now, do we need to make some crucial adjustments? And do we have to play better than what we did the other day, more consistent on all phases of every area? Yes. And now, is our team, are they willing to do that? I believe they are. I really do. The way they've worked this whole off season, they want this. So with that combination, let's go do it. Let's identify. Let's have a plan how we're going to get that done. And let's make sure that we see big improvements this second week. And if we do that, we're going to be right where we need to be. And I feel good about it. So after watching the film, you know, what you see, Hook, if you see a team that just don't athletically can, and my fans I'm sure are frustrated because they see there's an athletic team out there, right?
Right.
You see, now we are small in certain areas, you know, our safeties, trying to hit big running backs, big tight ends, that is a negative for us a little bit, right? But we got a lot of them, so we can rotate a lot. But if I put on that film and said, dang, Gardner-Webb's just better than us, man, talent-wise, we're in trouble. Because if we ain't as talented as our guard, they just made plays because they are so much better than us. That's not the case. The case is when we do it the right way, we're up 35-7, okay? Up 42-14. So that gives me hope, and that's why I'm so excited right now after watching the film, saying, man, these guys, we gotta make these improvements. We gotta make these adjustments. We gotta decide if we're gonna be that kind of football team where we can play with the best of the best in our conference and go to the playoffs. Because if we decide that, we can get there. Because we're talented enough to do it. I think people see that. Are we gonna hang our hat and go and work our butt off, change some of these things that we did this week as far as the inconsistencies, and be a more consistent football team? If we say yes, and I think we've already answered that question, our players have. We've already asked them that. Let's go to work. Don't matter who believes in us or not. Don't matter. We believe in ourselves, and let's go to work and be a better football team this Saturday. That's what we're looking to do.
Looking for everybody to be in the trenches. That includes our Catamount Nation fan base as well. Trust me, we're closer than we are farther away. We've talked about that multiple times. Now we just got to go do it. I think that's the big thing that I think.
If you need new players, that's the one thing.
Right.
It's hard to go find new players right now.
Well, Georgia State found a new quarterback, I think, like this week in the transfer portal. Yeah, that's what I heard.
God. Jesus Christ.
Transfer portal, it's free agency, Coach. That's what it is right now.
I really know. I got what I got, and I got all I need. That's what I tell them. We got what we got, and we got what we need. I believe that in that room. There's some guys hurt. There's some guys out. We're getting those guys back here pretty soon. And when we do, I think, and we get more consistent in them areas that we're going to work our butt off at, we'll be where we need to be.
And I want all the doubting Thomases out there to know that Kerwin Bell is serious. He's ready to go. And I think if they had practice tonight, he would be revved up, ready to go.
We shouldn't have gave him off today.
I should apologize to Cosette again.
You had to give him off. The NCAA would be all over him if I didn't give him off one day.
I have to apologize to Cosette. Get you fired up now. You don't have any practice to go to. So either way, we appreciate you tuning in here on Catamount Football Weekly. Keep the faith. It's week 1. We've still got 11 more weeks to go.
Man, if you couldn't overcome adversity, why would you get in this thing? I've done that my whole life, and it just feels good when you're down and people give up on you. And, man, you feel like you're on your last leg and you find a way to come through it. That's what this whole thing's been about for me, and I love it. That's why it brings out the competitiveness in you.
There you go.
Yeah, we were bad. I ain't no excuses.
Mm-hmm.
But by God, that picture's hanging on that wall, like I told our team. We don't put 12 pictures on that wall. You can't redo that picture. Once it's up there, it's up there. So that's an ugly picture that we got to see for the rest of our life, just like that Citadel game was, just like the Campbell game was. But there is something you can do about it. By God. And we're going to do something about it, I guarantee that, for the next level.
We also had an ugly picture on the screen earlier when everything froze, and it was us
That's right.
staring off into space. I think that was an ugly picture as well. But, again, we appreciate you tuning in each and every Monday night. Come on out to Catamount Jaxe. Join us here live on location. Want to talk to the coach? You have any grievances you want to air? Coach is here. He'll talk to you. He wants to an open-door type of policy.
Nobody wants to ask questions.
Yeah, a lot of comments coming in. And, again, a long way to go in this thing. If we end up 11-1, like I said, I don't think anybody's going to talk about Gardner-Webb. So we got a lot of work to do. Wake Forest, big task coming up as you go up against one of the P4 conferences. Looking forward to a great purple contingent. Make sure you wear purple. They're going with the Gold Rush, a big-time fundraiser there at Wake Forest. Big-time opportunity to go and showcase yourself on the ACC Network Extra. We're looking forward to that. We hope to have you on board Catamount Sports Network. 1 o'clock airtime, 2 p.m. kickoff. It's Western Carolina, Wake Forest, on the road in Winston-Salem. For the coach and all of our crew, I'm Daniel Hooker saying so long for now. We'll catch you next week right here on Catamount Football Weekly.